As we pulled into Skagway, the sun burst out of the fog and cloud cover. Looks like it is going to be a stunning day for a bus trip up to Carcross, where we will board the White Pass train for our ride back down. The little wisps of smoke you see on the mountains are small forest fires the rangers are keeping their eye on. Even on a busload of tourists, you feel the solitude and spiritualness of this majestic land. As the bus proceeds up the highway around big curves, always hugging the river, we move from Alaska to British Columbia to the Yukon. After a few stops and around 2 hours on the Klondike Highway, we arrive in the beautiful little town of Carcross. It is a true little tourist town now, coffee shops, novelty shops, and you can even get your passport stamped with a moose and a beautiful place to stretch your legs while you wait for the train to chug into town. Carcross is situated between Bennett and Nares Lake. The water is crystal clear, and when you look down from the bridge, you can actually see the fish swimming below. The train chugs, I love that word, into town, and the conductor calls all aboard as we set off on our journey back to Skagway. The train really does chug along, hugging the shore of Bennett Lake, cutting between rocks and hills. You feel like you have actually gone back in time. Our first stop is at the abandoned town of Bennett. It is now managed by Parks Canada. We have a 30-minute break here to walk around the old campsites, visit the church, and up the trails as we watch out for brown bears. While we are here, the train picks up any hikers who have completed the 53-kilometer Chilkoot Trail hike that the early gold rushers used to make their way to the Yukon.
What?
We could hear the train whistle as we were up in the hills, and the conductor yelled all aboard so we could continue the journey. The construction of rickety wood bridges and long tunnels through the mountains was an amazing feat, and what a difference it made to the area. Again, the train chugs along right on the edge of the mountains. We pass the gulch where thousands of horses and men died as they tried to make their way up to the Yukon. It is amazing how quite high up we are. As you look across the valley, you can see waterfalls cascade down the mountains. The track curves so much that at times you could see the engines of the train. It was handy being in the second car from the back. Parks Canada has done an amazing job of giving you a feel for what the prospectors experienced. Here is the NWMP, or the Northwest Mounted Police as they were called then, where every prospector had to prove they were able to survive. They had to have 2 tons of supplies. The last thing the NWMP wanted was for people to start starving and then start committing crimes. In 1898 they started building the train. During the summer they worked long hours, as the sun hardly set. During the winter they rested. The railroad is 110 miles long and reaches a height of 3,000 feet. There were two crews working, one from the north and one from the south. On July 29, 1900, they met in Carcross. The cost of the train was $10 million. The number of lives the train saved was priceless. I can't express enough how marvelous this excursion was. It has made me want to go back and explore the Yukon even more.